So today we're going to talk about turning improper fractions into mixed numbers and mixed numbers into improper fractions. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about what is an improper fraction. It is a fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. So for example, my numerator is 10 and my denominator is 2. So that numerator is bigger than the denominator. That is an improper fraction. All right, so we have a couple examples, and I'm going to show you a few different ways in which you can take an improper fraction and turn it into a mixed number. Okay, so the first one is 21/5. So I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 5 go into 21 evenly? And I'm going to kind of draw like these are big black ones. It's going to be 5/5. So I'm at 5. I'm at 10, 15, and I'm at 20. So I kind of drew like big black ones, and I have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. I'm at 20/5, but I need to get to 21/5. So I'm just going to add on 1/5. So now when I go to write my answer, I'm looking to see how many wholes I have. And we know that when we have a number that is the same as on top, the numerator, as the denominator, that equals 1 whole. So if I have a pizza out of 5 pieces and I have all 5, that's 1 whole. So here I have 1 whole, 2, 3, and 4. So my answer is 4 wholes, and I have 1/5 left over. Okay, so this is one way to do taking an improper fraction and turning it into a mixed number. Another way for 38/7 is to say, okay, what number, 7 times what number is going to get me close to 38? So I'm going to write some of them out and I'm going to check them. So let's do like, okay, 7 times 1, that equals 7. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 equals 35. And that looks really close, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to do 7 times 6 and get 42. And that's too many. 42 is going over 38. So I'm going to use this 7 times 5 fact. Okay? So how many times can 7 go into 38 evenly, or how many times can it be multiplied? 5 times. Always keep my denominator the same. And now I'm at 35. And I need to get to 38. So how many does it take to get to 38? 35, 36, 37, 38. 3. So I'm missing 3. So my answer is 5 3/7. So this way I'm using multiplication to get as close to 38, my numerator, as I possibly can, and then find out how many more I need to get to my number, and that becomes my numerator. All right, finally, we can use the division way. I have 14 over 3, so what I'm going to do is do a division problem here, and I'm going to write this the way that it's written, 14 divided by 3. So let's do it out, 14 divided by 3. And how many times can 3 go into 14? Doing my normal division here. 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. When I subtract, I have 2 left over. And so what we've been practicing is taking that remainder and turning it into a fraction. So my answer equals a full 4. I have 2 left over. And what was I dividing by? 3. You can also keep in mind that your denominator is always going to stay the same as what it was in your problem. All right, switching gears here, we are now going to work on taking a mixed number, which means having, that whole number with that fraction, and turning it into an improper fraction. So our first problem here says, write 2 3/5 as an improper fraction. So I'm just going to kind of show you what that looks like in a picture form. Okay, so I'm going to draw a circle and a circle to represent my 2 wholes. Now my denominator is 5, okay, and here's my fraction. So I'm going to do my fraction piece first, okay, so I'm going to try to draw 5 pieces, 3, 4, 5. Not perfect, but okay, so I'm going to shade in 3 of these. So here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3, okay, so I have 3/5. I'm also going to cut these pieces here into fifths as well because that's what my denominator is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have to shade in all of these, right? Because these are 2 wholes. So if you're looking at it like pizzas, I have 2 full wholes and 3 out of 5 pieces left. So now what I'm going to do when I'm finding turning this into an improper fraction, okay, I'm all out of 5. My denominator always stays the same. These pieces are cut into fifths, but I want to know how many fifths do I have. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 right there. And 1, 2, 3. So let's add them together. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 3, I have 13 fifths, or 13 pieces. And that is turning my mixed number into my improper fraction. All right. Now this is something that I wrote down to help you do it a little bit faster with another method, MAD. You're going to multiply the denominator by the whole number. You're going to add the product to the numerator, and then your denominator stays the same. So if I were to use this method in this problem up here, okay, so I'm going to rewrite 2 and 3/5. I'm going to multiply the denominator, that's my 5, by the whole number, that's my 2. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. Now add the product, which is 10, the answer to my multiplication problem, to the numerator. So now I'm going to add 10 to the numerator, which is 13. My denominator, which is the 5, stays the same. So it's kind of like this circle. Multiply and add, multiply and add. Denominator stays the same. Multiply, add, denominator stays the same. M-A-D. So we've got a few to practice, and then it's your lesson practice. So remember, multiply, add. Denominator stays the same. So sometimes I like to go in and kind of put my denominator as the same already. All right, multiply and add. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Done. Multiply and add, denominator stays the same. All right, the next one. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 is 39. Remember, multiply and add. All right, the last one. 7 times 15, then I'm going to add the 5. I don't have my 15s memorized, so it's okay to come over here and say, okay, 15 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So I have 105, plus 5 is 110 over 7. So multiply, add, denominator stay the same. All right, so here's your lesson practice. You do have 6. So for the blue ones, you are turning them into mixed numbers. And the purple ones, you are turning them into improper fractions.